What's up, world? E-Cussionist here. Welcome to lesson number 5. We are live right here at NGO Radio Terra's very own YouTube channel, where we have free lessons for all ages and all levels every single week. And we're really excited to be bringing you a safe space that fosters music appreciation, education, and sharing. So today we're going to be talking about dynamics. We're going to be talking about usage of dynamics in song as a drummer. We're going to be talking about actual ways that we can improve our ability to play dynamics. We're going to talk about some of my favorite drummers that really exemplify certain ways of playing dynamically. And yeah, that should pretty much cover us for the half hour. Time goes by really fast when we do these lessons, so I always try and stay on task. Thank you so much to our sponsors, NGO Radio Terra, of course, down in Brazil, Proel, Icon Microphones, Tamburo Drums, Roland Corporation. We thank you so much for helping us bring these lessons and these live shows and these recordings to life every single week. So, dynamics. Dynamics for me evokes touch, control, listening, adaptation, texture, tone, song form, and technique. So, let's note the difference of the way the intro of a song sounds versus the way a hook sounds, right? We know that we're going to use cymbals, and we maybe even just pare it down to some hi-hat in the very beginning. And then when the verse happens, it's going to be a nice tight groove, not a lot going on. And this is, of course, depending on the genre or the context. But then when the pre-chorus happens, something changes in the groove, but it doesn't get as big as the chorus. Until the chorus happens, then things start to be added. Particularly live, we'll open up our hi-hat most of the time. That's sort of a universal law. So it's really, really important that we just know some of these things. That way, when we're playing with people, we automatically know where the song needs to go, because organically, that's what happens. We open up the hi-hat on the hook, and we close it back down for the verse. So if I'm going to demonstrate something like this. Verse. Nice and relaxed. Pare it down. Pre-chorus. Chorus. If I were to play that for a live context, I would play more fills and more crash cymbals like this. Let's say we're in the pre-chorus, going into the chorus. So yeah, that's just a little something for playing for the song. Open up that hi-hat on the hook, though. That's the most important piece of advice that I can give any young drummer, is to open up that hi-hat on the hook and close it down for the verse. One more thing is it's always good to play the snare on 1 when you're coming in to the second verse. So like this, coming from the hook. All right, so the next talk about dynamics that I want to do, it's about limb isolation. So I demonstrated this a little bit last time as it pertained to pocket and groove, but let's look at it from the other perspective of really effective dynamics. We could potentially make the snare really soft for the intro and the verse, and then for the hook we'll just make the snare loud. And that could be enough of a dynamic change to satisfy an artist. And that's what this is what that would sound like. So as you can see, it's all about making that snare pop in and out, and that's what's making the dynamic change that's really needed. And one more thing that you want to note is that you do have right now 3 elements happening at the same time. My right hand, my foot, my left hand. Right, so if I bring it all back down, we can kind of like pick and choose which part we want to turn up. Treat your hand or your foot like a little fader on a mixer and just turn that up. Right now I'm going to turn up my foot. Now I'm going to turn up the hi-hat. In the snare. Turn down the kick. Not that much. A little more. Good. I'm not quite even sure if I'm doing the best job of demonstrating this, but this is a wonderful exercise to help really start to create independence in your brain for how you can communicate with your limbs. One of the hurdles that I keep coming up against is that when I turn down one of my limbs, I need to remember that I'm focusing still on 2 more things. I'm not just focusing on one other thing, right? It's not this binary act of going back and forth between one option and then this other option. It's you have to juggle 3 different ideas, and when you turn down one, make sure that that doesn't affect the other 2 things. So just really something to think about. Also, when we're playing something like a straight ahead or a swing groove, how we balance all of our limbs. Really important. And when I say balance, I mean balance from a volume perspective. John Bonham. When the Levee Breaks is a really, really awesome record to check out because it features his powerful dynamic flow. Right, like that. It's not. It's. So I really love those fills that he's putting in there. Next drummer I want to talk about is Steve Gadd. Asia is a really good song, and it's a really good song in terms of dynamics. It starts out with cymbals, it moves into sort of a straight eighth groove, and then eventually it grows into this amazing drum solo with Steve Gadd. So I haven't transcribed Steve's solo or anything like that, so I'm going to just be showing you an essence of the dynamic range of that song. The next drummer I want to talk about is Questlove. Particularly, the song is called You Got Me. But this groove is really, really important because the dynamic range that he shows really enabled us to think that this was programmed drum and bass, when really this was Questlove's genius, Questlove's touch, and Questlove's machine-like precision. I don't profess to be Questlove, so yet I will show you the dynamic quality that makes that drum and bass groove so nasty. think that's a really unique way of playing drum and bass, is to make sure that those ghost notes are so different from the more powerful accents on the snare that it does start to take on a nice, fluid, swingy feel, even though it's a rather fast, intense beat to play. So all the different varieties of dynamic playing, compare them to one another, and just have fun. But remember, when you play the song, open up the hi-hat on the hook most of the time, unless otherwise noted, and bring it back down for the verses. That will save you a lot of time in rehearsals and on gigs and in jam sessions. Thanks so much. Big shout out to NGO Radio Terra down in Brazil, Tamboro Drums, Pro-L, Icon Microphones, and Roland Corporation. Thank you so much. This is E. Cushion is signing off. This is Lesson